from the feed. That's the only thing, really. But we'll wait just another minute or two for people to get in here. As always, I'll just wait another minute.
Give Fultz a hot second.
One of these days, gonna have to figure out the thing that auto-mutes people, but
yeah, it's just straight
for
up
another
a channel
day.
setting. I just don't think I have admin perms to do it. Unless I do, then I'm the asshole.
I'll check.
But it is an option to give just specific roles the ability to talk, etc., within a voice channel.
All right. Well, it's the new hour. It's 3 o'clock, so I guess we'll start. Just disclaimer: nothing is financial advice. Everything is strictly for educational / entertainment purposes. That said, let's begin. As always, no real agenda, maybe just one thing, but other than that, we'll be freestyling it as always. Give me some contracts that you guys have been looking for or looking at, keeping track of, whatever. I will also just scroll the Discord to see. I think someone did say, let's see, someone said more Oscar maybe. So this is a contract that I shall be interested in seeing what the open interest will be tomorrow. Could be in and outs maybe. I mean, the open interest value tomorrow will shed a little bit of light. Doesn't shed as much light as some people think it does. So I guess we'll just say that open interest. Whoop, let me mute people here. So open interest, by definition, is just strictly the total number of existing contracts, both long and short. So, the open interest going up by 10,000 after a day of all ask side activity doesn't necessarily mean that there is 10,000 new buyers. So just only means that there's more open interest, right? So open interest is a good value. It tells us a good bit, but it doesn't tell us everything. Give me 1 second to pull. I'll just pull up here. I think I've already deleted off my watch list, but there is a QQQ chain. Or rather, let's see. So I made a tweet this morning, as I generally do. Feel free to follow me if you guys haven't already. But I make a tweet that goes over a lot of the open interest changes, or just stuff that I think is either interesting or educational. And we'll just go over, I guess we'll just go over this, because I think there's some good examples in every single contract here. So the first one, Apple. 1 second here, I'm gonna have to copy paste it here because the picture didn't attach. So here's the picture. Commentary is as follows. Apple 175p August expiration, now 8,400 open interest, assuming that a trader is short around 8,000 or so after Friday plus Monday flows. So, nothing explicitly says that these are the same trader. I guess we're just making an assumption here. There's a lot of activity on this specific contract. So I think we can reason that it could be the same person. Either way, we don't know if they're long or short. We don't know if it's the same person or not. All we know is that in the last 2 days, 8,400 of these have been opened. So Ethereum, I think this is an Ethereum ETF. What did I say here? So the Ethereum 20 strike calls were closed. Similarly sized volume on the contracts with little other activity. What is going on here? Sorry about that. Ethe, 20 strike calls closed. Similarly sized volumes on the contracts with little other activity can often be attributed as belonging to the same trader. Educated deductions must be made when reading flows. This is a pretty basic deduction that you can make. So what do we have here? We have a large candle. We're just going to eyeball it, 25, 26,000. Similarly sized candle here. We know for certain just by looking at the volume and open interest data that this is the only trader in existence that could be moving this potential size. And indeed, open interest today confirms that these were a close. Another example here, just a position opened. I'm not even going to bother reading it, right? We just have you can just look at the volume in open interest, right? On this day, we had 2,000 contracts. The next day, there's 2,000 open interest. So, you can just by this little square of data tells you a little bit. You know that there's more contracts than there were yesterday. Duh. I guess if we extend that, if we just keep looking, we see, okay, so multi-leg is always a good thing to look at. Let us know if we're dealing with single leg trades or multi-leg trades, as the name implies. So in this case, single leg 2,000 volume, skewed all the way at the bid. Sorry, 1 second. And then we have ask side activity here with a steep decrease in open interest, which is fairly clearly the close. Right? It's not anything too crazy, right? Someone's trading 2,000 contracts yesterday. Well, it just so happens that I know someone that has 2,000 contracts. You know what I mean? Just think about it in that sort of light. So the main one that I wanted to get to was QQQ 500Ps August 1st. So we had a position opened up on June 13th for 2,000-ish volume. As you can see, 2,000 more open interest. Next session, Monday, yesterday, we see similar volume. Now, we could have seen open interest do, a few things. In this case, we see it go down, which tells us that whatever happened, so, someone opened contracts here for certain, and for certain, someone closed them here. I don't know if they bought them to begin with and sold them. I don't know if they sold them first and then bought them back. We just know that a position was opened and closed. That's what open interest can tell you. So that is my little bit on that. Let me look at the chat real quick here. All right, we got a bunch of contracts for us to go through here. Just gonna go through them in order, and then YouTube relay those into the chat as well. Thank you, Butch. All right, so starting with the first one, just gonna go in order. AAOI July 25s. July 18, 25 strike calls. So we got smallish trade here, pretty small, which isn't to disparage it. I mean, like I've seen the flows that you've posted that are small that, maybe that's the kind of stuff that maybe we should be looking for. This one I'm going to say maybe it's a bit too small. We can't chase every $5,000 flow, I think. Next one, we got Jignesh sharing the the TNDM 23 strike August calls, single leg, good. So this particular contract is trading 95% of all total flows for this name. So 2,200-ish volume here. The total volume for this entire contract, or for this entire ticker, is 2,400, give or take. When is earnings for this, just so we know? So earnings is not for a bit. The expiration date does cover earnings, but that doesn't necessarily make it an earnings trade. What is this thing here? So it's something about diabetes. That's all I know about it. I don't know if they have any kind of trials or whatnot going on. Not the clearest of flows, but definitely an opener. So what size do we have here? So we have 1,200 size. So open interest, I'm going to guess. So as always, whenever you're tracking flows, whenever you're looking at flows, even if you don't have a position, just any flows, it's always a good exercise to just like look at what you got here, and then think to yourself, all right, so tomorrow morning when open interest updates, what could it be? So in this case, we could have an open here. So I mean, this is definitely an open. Right? We have 1,200 volume against. It would only be 54 open interest, or rather, the open interest is static all day. But in the morning, there'd be 0 volume. So obviously, a 1,200 volume into 54 open interest is an opening trade. Are these openers? Find out tomorrow. Open interest is like 2,000. and I'm getting that number from like 1200 plus 200 plus 200 plus 200 plus 200. So, 2000 give or take. That would suggest that they're all opened. That doesn't mean that they're all buys. Remember, going back to the beginning of the stream, just because open interest goes up doesn't make it a buy. It just simply means that there's more contracts than there were the day prior. Next, we got Fun 30 strike calls. What is Fun? Is this like the Cedar Park thing? Okay, so it's like a amusement park type deal. Let's see here. So let's just look at the entire tape for the day. This is every single fill of these contracts. So I'm just looking for some potential clues in the tape. Not really as many as we would like to see. I would have liked to see maybe a few more executions just so I could see how the bid and ask and the fill behaved here. So I mean, I guess it's 1 point for the bulls if you think it's a bullish trade. That the fact that the fill increases as more volume takes place here. So I mean, I guess that's one argument for it being bullish. I mean, nothing stands out screaming that it's bearish necessarily, or that it's like a short call. So who knows? I don't know if this thing has branches everywhere. I think there's one in Ohio, I'm pretty sure. I don't know why I know that. So let's see here. Anthony says, I'd like to hear 2 cents on the FSLRs from yesterday. So yes, FSLRs, a popular topic. So the contracts themselves, like the flows, they had all of like the typical it had the stuff that we're looking for, to put it simply, and we'll pull it up right now. Let's see here. So I've pulled up yesterday, Monday's flow for the ticker FSLR using this specific preset filter, which is called Big Trades Ask. Simply just a filter that, as the name implies, big trades at the ask, at or closer to the ask. And it gives us all of the stuff that I'm sure you guys may have seen on Twitters. If I just click through them, so let me just go back to my Twitter here. So this tweet is something that I reference frequently. Not all volumes the same, right? Excuse my paint skills, but if you have 10,000 volumes in like a single stick, as opposed to 1,000 here, 2,000 here, 1,000 here, just a scattering of volume that adds up to 10,000. Like which one? Well, I mean, like, I know which one I think is more enticing of flow than the other one, right? And it's the one to the left. If you didn't know where I was getting at, so big activity, stuff that you can clearly identify as being an opening trade is pretty. It's the stuff that you're looking for. Now, not everything that has these characteristics will hit, right? If it did, then this would be a much easier thing to do. But this is like a great starting point. So now, let's look back. So obviously the flows were entered in yesterday. So look for the second half, or look for the first half of this 2-day view, right? So this is yesterday's activity. This right half is today's. So yesterday, June 16th, a whole bunch of these, again, the single stick of activity, the weekly 175p. It was trading at like 175, 174 or whatever, give or take. I mean, there was a bunch of them, but they all got rolled to like some peculiar strikes that I guess not all of them got rolled. This one is still open. 7,000 plus volume, open interest increases as you would expect given these 2 candles. Well, I mean, I guess technically this could have been a close, right? But open interest today dispels that it was a close, because there's too much open interest for it to have been a close, right? The open interest going up by this much tells us that they're both opens. That was this one. I clicked it again. So the 170, every contract pretty much traded today is rolling into something else. But yeah, so the news pertaining to that was something about the Senate tax bill winding down solar credits, which is obviously detrimental for something that deals in solar stuffs. So yeah, there's that. Let's see, YouTube. I already hit on that TNDM, so you got lucky there. We got a shout for Intel. Let's check out the Intel August 23. So this is what the poison that we've. Is it? Yeah. Is it this one today? Oh no. So it's a 23 strike. I clicked August. My bad here. Is that it? Let's see here. Hold on. So Intel sorting by volume. July 23. I guess it's this one right here, probably. Oops. This one right here. So since opened, had a little bump. It dipped. Let's actually just gonna look at something real quick here. Intel 23. What's today? June. I'm just seeing if someone posted it on Twitter for people to follow into, but it doesn't look like they did. But let's look at the actual tape here and see what we see. So I'm opening up the results because it defaults to 50. Just giving myself a little bit more stuff to look at here. So we can see at let's see here at 1:16:11. That's when all this stuff started. Now it's not the prettiest tape, and in fact, it kind of lends me to, and you know, maybe I wish I hadn't seen that it was going down, but like it's not so clearly a buy in my opinion, even though it's predominantly at the ask. Like if you just look at the candle, it's, you know, it's mostly at the ask. It's not the prettiest tape. Now, you know, nothing here is explicitly giving me reason to pause, but like it's just the fact that you know, it does, there are a lot of transactions that do feel at the ask, and even quote unquote above the ask, which isn't really a thing. Because you can see here that even in this same timestamp at 1:16:11, there were 30 asks. So like it filling at 30 here, that's not really above the ask. The ask was actually 30. The ask was actually 30 probably, which is why a 30 fill was possible. So honestly, these are probably shorted. If I had to, like, if you had a gun to my head and told me to guess, I'd probably guess that they were shorted. Nothing, we'll never know, right? What size is this candle? This candle is about 10,000. So open interest is going to go up. Unless you see another big candle, open interest is going to go up, you know, 8,000 at least. But that doesn't mean it's a buy. So yeah, that is my thoughts on that. Who knows? But yeah, just my read. A Joe named Joe says, hello, friends. Hello. Next one, YouTube. You got the EXE, the January 2026 110 put. So we do have that. Yeah, I saw this three-legger right here. That's these three, or maybe four, but I didn't really know what it was, so I just decided to ignore it. So we got this recent flow just from pretty much when we started the stream here. Yep, so this is quite literally every single transaction for the day, because as you can see, when there is a one size trade, the volume turned to 1. So this is obviously the first customer of the day. Another 1, now volume goes to 2, plus 1 goes to 3, plus 96 goes to 99, etc., etc. So given that, you know, it's extremely unlikely that some rando came in here a second before and started buying and traded this contract. We're gonna assume that this is also the same person, right? So kind of a wide spread here. So this was probably like, so 625 might have been the real ask, quote unquote, and then they lifted it to 630, I guess. Right? It's semi helpful that we have two different timestamps here. We have the 259.20 and then the 259.21. Nothing here is an exact science, right? Like I'm just speculating about how the tape looks. So yeah, I mean, I guess it looks like a long. Earnings 48 days away, quite far away, expiration date wise. Let's just look at the markets. We're still just kind of flat since the lows. Yeah, so I think it's an open. I think it's a buy to open, that is. And speaking of which, since we're here, you know, a lot of people are. It's hard to read this. It's hard to like. This, you know, this is a wall. It's a wall of words, right? But it's only one trade essentially. You know, when you see this this little icon thing here, that means that is a quote unquote aggregated trade. You can click it to see other related trades, which is useful. Like, let's say you are just in the flow here, right? These icon ones are the aggregated trades that we are mentioning now. If you flip this switch, you know, that one big block, quote unquote, aggregates into one. This is similar to what like other flow providers basically put out, like a black box would put out here, like 791 size trade probably. Let me actually see if anyone posted it, just for our curiosity's sake. What time was this one at recently? Okay, so we have someone posted the calls but not the puts. So I guess the next time we'll look to see if we'll compare. Actually, let's see here. All right, so we got this. So this guy posted. This guy's a nice guy. Nothing. I'm just strictly looking at what's being posted here. So we have the 135, 115, 125 3-leg trade. So 115, 135. So it's these three right here. So let's see here. So this aggregation that they're using says the 135 was traded at the bid. So 3,549 at the bid. So let's just take a look real quick here. $3,549. So they actually, hold on, let me see here. Nope, it's exactly 3,549. So this specific trade, this contract, the 3,549 volume was executed across two executions right here. It fills at the same exchange, which is, I guess it doesn't really matter. There was just happened to be two market makers or whatever that decided to fill this. So yes, it does fill at the bid. So that one, I guess, kind of lines up. July 115 at the 688 ask. Actually, let's jump over to this one. So this one says 193 above ask. So 125, 125. All right, so supposedly above the ask. So let's see. Yeah, I guess it was. So in this case, it is technically above the ask. I was looking for an example in which it wasn't a singular block, like not the 5,700 size. Let's try the 15 just to see. I'm not hopeful given how the other two looked here. 2151, yeah. So in this case, it also does fill. It just fills in one go. I'm sure that the bid ask that we have is the same. 655, 690. I guess they don't show the bid ask. or hold on one second. Which one are we looking at here? 115 at the ask. Yeah, okay, yeah. So that lines up. So not the examples that I was looking for, but just something to be cognizant of. Let's see here, moving on. UIS. Well, actually, what is this company anyways? Energy, okay. UIS. UIS 2P, December 2020. I love that. December 2026, quite a ways away. Ask yourself if you want to lock up your capital on a long play. Where did this go? For a year and a half, I guess. But let's see here. What is this? So just some, just what's the market cap? 300 mil. So like a small cap tech stock. No context clues here, really. Actually, maybe. Yeah. So I mean, we just have to assume that all this stuff all of it is the same person, just getting filled at different times. So I mean, there is a gap in between here. I mean, it could be two different people that know the same thing. Not saying that someone knows anything, but like, but the bid ask. Do they lift the bid ask here because of all their flow? I don't know. Don't know a lick about the company. Earnings is in a month and a half. Who knows? Let's see here. We have the master. The master, July 3, 210 put. Ooh, it's ways out of the money. So I'm just going to assume that these are probably short. Yeah, they're probably short puts, honestly. Now, don't go shorting these unless you have a plan, because if it does go wrong, being out 21 grand is a lot of money. Not that you'd instantly lose 21 grand if it went against you, but like that's how much you'd be on the hook for potentially. So I think they're probably short if I had to guess. But yeah, moving on. Nvidia 85p end of month. Nvidia 85p. Not loving this one either. Probably just short it. Are we sure this is the one? Oh, are you looking at the flows from the other day, perhaps? Perhaps, yeah. I mean, yeah. Just send me $4 if you want to buy these. Actually, just send me 2. I'll give you a 50% discount. Just too far of the money to really do anything with. Nvidia going to 85 by the end of June would be, there's bigger problems. Which that's not really good sound due diligence, right? If it hits this by this date, we have bigger problems. Like that's not actually due diligence, but like, just talking out loud. We get the real November's real. So this guy right here, 80% of all options on this name, which it's not trading like above normal volumes or anything, but I mean this volume is, if it's 80% of this, and it's already half of the average, like it's a lot of volume, relatively speaking. What is this thing anyway? Not many context clues here. Again, just pretty much the single timestamp. Now, some people might say, they might look at this and say like, oh, IV increases between these two timestamps, and it does increase. You're right, but like, there's just been a little bit too much time since to really matter that much, in my opinion. I don't know. Well, I mean, like, the stock price does go down and the fill does go up. So, I mean, I guess that's probably why it quote unquote increases, just like mathematically. Yep. What is this? Premier online luxury resale store. For the tinfoil or for the bears, I mean, people might say, oh, if luxury resale is on the rise, then that might mean that the people with more money are getting squeezed a little bit, but don't know. Moving on, we got GE 265 July 11, big fat 10K here. Um, let's take a look at the tape. Probably buys if I had to guess, just because I mean, like, in the same timestamp, this trade must have lifted the offer like just all the way. That said, what is it trading at now? So it's up slightly. So I mean, yeah, I think they're probably long. I haven't really been paying attention to the Indian airline accident investigation. I know GE was sending people to assist. I don't know if there are any developments. I don't know if they're any further along the investigation. So I'm not going to speculate. But I will say that obviously, since there's a potential, right? If let's just say that they find out that the engine was bad or something, then GE might be in trouble. But again, just speculating. So there's always that to be concerned about for this specific ticker. Same thing with Boeing. I think Boeing had a little bit of a bump earlier after some news. I forget exactly what it was. But all right, moving on here. We got the ACHR. Whole bunch of volume today here. Which one were you looking for here? Just click this one. So you're looking for the 8.5p. So yeah, pretty large volume to open interest ratio here. Net premium. So like, so what is this? If you just saw this, let's just say you saw this. What is this? What could this tell you? Or like, what information can you glean from this? So how this reads to me is that, if we look in the flow tape, we're going to see basically little to no ask side call activity. Most, if not all, of the calls will be at the bid, right? Given that the net call premium is decreasing, right? Just a steady decrease. Yes, there's a bump here, there's a bump here, there's like a tiny bump here. Yes, there's little bumps along the way, but like the net call premium, as the name implies, is all the way down here. A negative 1.5 mil. Now that being said, that doesn't tell us if they're shorting new calls or closing long calls. That just tells us that the calls are being traded at the bid, right? Now, similarly, we see that the put line is basically flat all day. There is a little bump here. The bump is caused by this, and then maybe some other ticker or maybe some other contract here, a smaller one. But pretty much no one's really been trading puts today. This is a fairly volatile name. I mean, it's no stranger to a minus 14 day, plus 22. What is this? I've seen it all the time here. Archer Technologies, Archer Aviation. Is it like a VTOL, is it like a VTOL aircraft thing, or is it something else? It doesn't sound like it's VTOL. Anyways, but yeah. So now and then, so again, a bunch of bid side calls. We're gonna see a bunch of bid side calls. Very little put volume, or very little big put volume, right? Like they might be trading some puts here, but like as you can see, the premium doesn't really do anything. It's effectively flat, right? It's flat for all intents and purposes. It's flat. So now let's just look at the ACHR option screener. So we're just gonna. This just shows us all of every contract default volume. So as our suspicions, or confirming our suspicions rather, we have a lot of bid side call activity. Single leg, again, 0 or 1 multi% here on the top 3 traded. And all the top 3 traded are volume over open interest. So potentially new positions. And if we're only going off the bid and the ask, could be short positions. I don't know if it had news today. I mean, like everything's down a little bit, right? So that being down 3%, being a smaller cap, it's not really that surprising. High beta, all that stuff. So how I would read this. So yes, a lot of bid side calls. So maybe people aren't necessarily, they're not betting on upside, but like, they're not betting on downside either. If I had to, is my 1 day read of this. Let's see what else has been going on here. So it looks like it had some news or an offering or something, if I just had to guess, right? Like it looked like it had some pretty good momentum here, right here, and then it just kind of shit the bed here. I don't know what happened there. So maybe some of no, we've already established that these are probably opening positions. I was going to theorize that maybe some of the longs from earlier in the week were getting out. Maybe they wouldn't have gotten out there before the news. Who knows? Let's see in the chat. Someone says it is EVTOL, so electric vehicle or electric vertical takeoff and landing. And then they are also adding that there's a potential 850 million offering, they believe. Yep, so that would make sense. All right, yeah, it's a good, interesting flow. Moving on, let's see here. We got the RKT August 16. Let me just real quick peek at the market. All right, well off lows. Not well off lows. We're off lows, I guess we can say. All right, so we got the RKT 16 August. Or 18, right? What'd you say? 16 August. Okay. August 16. Okay, so it's a few day old flow. So RKT, yeah, bunch of openers, increase in open interest, not much volume, not much change in open interest. So they're still holding most likely. Average fill 69 that day, last close 47. So they're down like 33% or so. How did the tape look on the day of? This is the day of, right? The 12th. Yep. All right. Yeah, I kind of need to see more, I think. Let's see the whole day. Why do we see? Yeah, okay. Historical data thing is annoying. I mean, not a whole lot of context clues, but if I had to guess, probably buys to open. Now, I'm not plugged into the housing market or anything, or the mortgage market, or new housing starts or whatever. I'm sure JPAL is going to say something tomorrow that has some effect on mortgages to some degree. So I don't know, but it does look like opens, or they are for sure opens. They are for sure still open as well, and they probably buys to open if I had to guess. Moving on. YouTube asks about the AMD July 13th 130, but there is no July 13th. 130, anything 130 here? Anything 130? Let's just sniff around. and see if we can find what they're looking for here. $31.30s or strike filter. That'd be sweet if there was. 30. If you can get us a clarification there, or maybe we can just see 130, 130, 130. Can't be that, right? All right, well, gonna have to move on here. Let's see here. Apple 210, 7.3. $210.73. A little bit out of the money-ish. Yeah, so the Apple 210 7.3s. So if we look at the 2-day view, just look at these two lines right here. So yesterday, big activity at the end of the day. This much volume. Not as much increase in open interest as you might expect. Actually, you know what it was? It's because this was them buying. This second one was either them buying or someone else buying. This was that person selling, and this one is that person selling, probably. So you're going to see open interest decrease tomorrow by, well, I don't know. This candle is actually bigger than, it's actually the same size as these two, so maybe that's incorrect. I don't know. You're going to see open interest decrease by a fair margin tomorrow. So this is definitely not. It's probably not a new sell to open. It's probably a sell to close. So if they got in at like 84, they were getting out at like 61. So it's like a 25% drop right there. Yeah, so not a new position, most likely. Probably a close. Moving on, we got the EWY. What country is this? South Korea. We got the South Korea October 80 strike calls. Okay, so this is probably an older flow too. Yesterday's. Even 2 days, or even a few days ago. So a few days ago, June 11, we have a little bit of flow here. Just again, we're just looking at the bird's eye view. 4,000 contracts, give or take, at or closer to the ask. And then yesterday, Monday, another 11,000 at or closer to the ask. Open interest increases pretty much in full both times. So we know that this is fully an open. This was fully an open. No contract handoff took place. Let's look at the actual tape on this big day here. Yeah, so I mean, like, it looks like they lifted the offer, I guess, if I had to guess. They lifted the offer from 85 to 90. The timestamp is exactly the same here. So that looks like a buy to open, I guess. And then the day here, only one timestamp, so not a whole lot of use. The spread is kind of wide, and it does fill at or closer to the ask. So that's all we really have to go on in this case. But yeah, I don't know what the trade deal situation is with Korea. Pretty sure this must have a pretty good performance year to date, if I had to guess. Yeah, so it's up 30% YTD. What is SPY up YTD? It's a little bit down, right? Probably SPY. It's flat, 2%. So yep, way better than us this year so far. Moving on. NBIS. Get the NBIS end of month 55 sticking out right here. So 2,700 volume, 650 open interest. Heavy skew to the ask. Just generally some decent stuff that you at least want to have. So yeah, so they opened them up. Probably holding the majority. Let's see the rest. I mean, there might be some call premium drops there, so might be some other flows that we have to go look for. But for now, We'll look at this one. All right, so this is basically the total flow. It fills in like a single timestamp, unfortunately for us. Are they lifting the offer? You know, let's see. If I had to guess, probably buy to open this volume right here. So what is that? 1200 plus 570, so like 1700-ish buy to open. Yeah, NBIS. Who knows? Volatile name for certain, right? Yep. Oh, this thing's had a mean run. Yeah. All right, moving on here. Moving on. We got the CAPR, the Capper August 25s. So we got some flows from a few days ago, as we can see. As you can see, open interest hasn't budged. Not enough volume for them to have exited. So given that, we are fairly certain that they're in pretty much the entirety of their position. Now let's look at the tape to see if there's anything that might dissuade us from thinking that it was a long. So not the most useful tape. Just again, it's just like a single timestamp. Not sure. Now they are filling at the ask. The whole single second. I guess it's 2 seconds. 37.38. 37.38. Bid ask tightens up here. Maybe it's a buy. Could these be people tailing afterwards? Could be. What is this thing? Therapeutics. Yeah, biotechs are always a tricky one. Sometimes you get like I was gonna say, if those you get the plus 50 day, and then sometimes you get the minus 15 day. Or if you're like SRPT, I'm sure didn't that one have like a dumpster fire of a day recently? Yeah, a nice old 42, minus 42 day. All right, last thing in the chat here. So if you want more, fill up the chat if you would like. Last thing right now, we got the VTGN. VTGN weekly 3C. Yep, standing out right here. Not the most money, but money nonetheless. Is this one of those ones that trades in like weird increments? Oh no, maybe not. What is this thing? Stem cell tech earnings tonight. Earnings tonight. So care. What else is earnings tonight? I'm gonna come back to this thing real quick here. VTGN, 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 VTGN. So nothing. Oh, lazy boy. But real quick. Shit. Our data is a little bit jacked up here because of a reverse split. Give me 1 second to make a note of this. What is the ticker here? VTGN. VTGN reversed. All right. Well, this ticker, I'll have to get that fixed. But what I was looking for was this chart, which shows the ticker's expected move and the actual earnings move. So now, what happened here? This specific entry could be a bug just because like it doesn't look like the other ones. But generally speaking, it would seem that lazy boy likes to stay inside the expected move, which I mean it does. When it does not stay inside the expected move, it goes to the upside. So if you had made me pick a play, I would maybe short like a put spread. I mean, it's only $38. I mean, how liquid is this thing? Let's see here. So the expected move. Give me a second here. So the weekly, the expected move is about 8%. So the lower end is like a 35.41. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna pull up Robinhood on my other screen. Lazy boy, LZB. 1 second here. So the weekly, if you shoot 35, it's honestly not even worth the premium to do anything. Yeah, never mind. Abort. The premiums aren't worth it. It's trade like the strikes are poop too. Let's look at the options chain real quick. It basically trades 5 wide, so like just way too much. If it was like $1 wide or like 250, it'd be a bit more manageable. But yeah, never mind. Abort. That is it for the chat. So that is it for the chat. Yeah. If you guys have anything else, any questions? How do I do this? Oh, almost forgot. We need to go over the thing that I made a note for at the beginning. So making an alert real quick. So as you may or may not know, you cannot create an alert for an individual flow trade. The workaround is that you can create an interval flow alert. So now let's create. Let's just I'm going to skip creating it. I'm just going to insert just a preset one that I like. It's not a preset per se. I'll drop it in the chat here so you guys can also see it. So I dropped it in the Discord chat, Nick, if you want to relay it to YouTube if you're still in here. But anyway, so once you have your settings set up, all you need to do is just click this this button here. This button exists on the interval alert or the interval flow feed as well as the options screener. I think on the flow alerts as well. Yep. So there's a few feeds where you can just find you build your setting and then you can be alerted to it. You just click this button right here. It'll fill in all the information here. So like, what's today? June 17, stream, filter, create alert. Now I have it here. Anytime something matches, it will send to my phone. Yeah, nothing is procced yet. Oh, how did something proc now? Did we get it? Or was that before I hit enter? Probably before I hit enter. So anyways, that's how you quickly do that. Again, you can do that from the interval flow, the screener, and then the flow alerts. So that's one simple little thing. Oh, I just got a push notification. Nope, there it is, Hal. I guess it just took a second. So as you can see, this Hal trade shows up in my alerts that I just created. And the Hal is kind of the similar, right? So let's look at the actual flow feed, right? Or let's look at the filter. So the filter itself is looking for an interval in which there's some volume, right? Some volume. There's a skew to the ask. Single leg mostly, because I'm capping the multi-leg percentage at 30. Some money, right? 100K. These are just arbitrary values. None of these values are the ones you should use necessarily. They're just some values to get me going. So what does the actual tape look like, right? So the alert, it makes me think, okay, maybe these are being bought because they're at or closer to the ask. So let's actually look at the tape. What does the tape look like? And the tape does seem like they are being opened to buy. The offer is being lifted as more fills are taking place. What is it? Hard to say. This is energy, right? Yeah, Halliburton. Don't know how much exposure they have to whatever's going on out in the east, out in the Middle East, so can't speculate too much on that. But yeah, I mean, it looks like this is just it's a simple way just to get alerted and just to get you to look at something, right? Let's see if this actually. Let's see if HAL itself shows up on any of the default filters here. HAL. Yep. So HAL shows up on the regular ask flow. What about big trades ask? Yeah, HAL shows up as well. Right. So there's different ways to get around. Like, if you have a flow filter that you like, it shouldn't be too hard to make an interval filter that looks kind of similar. And that's what I'm trying to do. But yep, that's how you do that. Let's see. Someone has mentioned QQQ 3 days. Little lotto tickets. Oh, that'd be a big fat move. Well, not really, 3%. But that would take us past highs, right? I think. But let's actually look at the tape. Let us actually look at the tape. That is true. We do have FOMC tomorrow. I'm sure we're cooking up a Twitter space for that. So come by.
You betcha. 12:55 p.m. Eastern.
Yep, be there or be square. Looks like Bida opens. Looks like they're lifting the offer. Not financial advice, just some cheap lottos. Yeah. Should see, 80, 85, 90,000 open interest tomorrow, barring volume at the end of the day. Right. Don't forget QQQ trades until 4:15 Eastern. So they could be closed out before the close. They could be closed out after the close. So just keep that in mind. Shazam, that's the same QQQ that you just posted. Yep, so I'm caught up. I'm caught up there. Let me just look at my watch list real quick and see if anyone moved anything while I wasn't looking. Let's see here. So the Peloton calls did get closed out. I did see that. Looks like they saved themselves a few bucks. Oh yeah, they saved themselves a lot of money. Closed at 38, now trading at 22.21. Intel, not sure what they're doing. I don't even know why this is on my watch list. Yeah, that one I couldn't figure out why. Oscar, this one's going to be one where a little bit more volume here. This is one where you're going to definitely want to look at open interest tomorrow, just to get a better idea. Oh, there was some flow here too that did turn into some new open interest. So yeah, there's some bull interest in this, I guess, at a glance. Again, the Apple 210s were probably closed. This is probably this yesterday closing. DK getting rolled. DK being rolled. Guy on Twitter. So DK 22.5, 5K right here, 5K right here. Boom, rolling out. What are they rolling out to? They are rolling out to the 25 strike July right here. So if they got in at 37.26, so that is an average of, we'll say 31. Out at 55, opening new ones at 73. So do the math there, so you can figure out how much profit they're playing with. My little alert thing just went off again. What do we got here? BSX. I think BSX had a ripper. A few rippers, maybe some flows. I can't remember which contracts, but got a little tiny bit of flow here that I have been alerted to. Nothing crazy. Not loving the tape. Yeah, these are probably short. These are probably short calls if I had to guess. So do not buy these, I think. Yep. 2 minutes till the close. Let's just pull up the feed. Let's pull up the feed and see if we got any last minute stuff. TNDM, that was one that we mentioned, right? A little bit more volume here. 37 G's worth. Did this one have earnings after hours? Where'd it go? TNDM, not earnings after hours. Remember, you can reorder your flow columns using this button. Just click this button, and then you can. What's one that I don't want to? Just move this tag one. I can just slide it here at the beginning. Moves this stuff over here, but I don't want it at the beginning. There you go. FSLR, the longs from this morning opened pretty much at the lows. Open at 705, 698, low of 640. Well off lows now, or well off highs now. I guess they're kind of in a happy middle. But yeah, I think FSLR might have seen the worst of it. Core Weave, another stupid day. Will Lulu ever stop falling? Oh. Oh, looks like those Amazon puts that I saw people tweeting about earlier closed out. If I had to take a guess. Well, actually, this one's an interesting one. I'm gonna keep my eye out on the open interest tomorrow. Could be anywhere from honestly 35 to 5,500 potentially. So that's one to keep an eye on. But it looks like we're closed. Today's Tuesday, June 17th. Market's closed. We are off Thursday. What's the date? The 19th, right? Because the holiday is called Juneteenth. Makes sense. All right, yep. Anything in the YouTube chat, Nick?
Nothing new, just a couple requests for some things we covered toward the beginning, and I also dropped in the 4 ways options can transact for everybody as well.
Sweet. But yeah, so normally we've been trying to do these on Thursday, but again, since the market's closed Thursday, that's why we're doing it today. So thank you for tuning in. If you came in late, this will be on YouTube like right now, pretty much. So just refresh the channel a couple times and you'll be able to see it. But yeah, thanks for coming by. We'll do this again very soon, and have a good